Abby, how you doing? Great job, really good job. Here, of course, you've got no hierarchy to speak of other than the fact that this is set aside. So this is obviously, as a designer, where you want us to look first. Each of these is holding a lesser position and prominence, but equal position and prominence to each other. So uh, logically, this has more importance than this. Why, Abby? Because we read from the top of the page and bottom from the left to right. So something that's closer located to the top of the page indicates that it's more important in terms of hierarchy, or that's the way the designer is making it. The designer is determining that the designer, he or she wants you to look at these as something that's not so important to the composition, however, in equal importance in relation to each other. Okay, now this is basically the same composition, but you've added a little bit of weight here. So in design number 2, you must introduce contrast of weight and scale. So you've got weight, and I guess you could consider this weight and scale. This is more what I'm looking at for weight and scale is the 69 and the Chevy Camaro being a little different from each other. So technically you've done a good job here, but basically this is the same layout. And I just noticed it just seems like this space here is greater than these spaces here. These line spaces. Sorry, the leading here, space between lines. If it is it's just by a hair, and if not, it's just an illusion that I'm seeing. So, okay, I think this is your most successful piece. I really do. I think one thing I would do here is the use of the grid. I think you've got great hierarchy here, really good hierarchy. You're saying, okay, this is the important part, but this is pretty darn important too. And so is this. Not as important as this, nowhere near as important as this, but again, not as least important as that. Hope that makes sense. The one thing I would suggest here is take this 383 stroker, bring it right over here and put it right here and right align that, okay? Don't know if you need that comma there. You could just say 383 stroker, V8 on the first, or 383 stroker on the first line, V8 fuel injection on the second, 6-speed manual on the third. Get rid of the commas. They're just ruining your right margin. What that's going to do, Abby, is that's going to take this and it's going to move it away from the Chevy Camaro, because right now this could conceivably be construed or confused that this 383 stroker V8 is more associated with this composition right here than it is with this area right here. And it's not more associated with that. It's directly associated to this fuel injected 6-speed manual. So let's get it over there in proximity and really reinforce that. Then once you move that up there, you can take this whole composition, move it down and move that up just to separate them a little bit. Okay, this piece I think is really super random. Excuse me. It works. You definitely have some good established hierarchy, definitely. Even though it's kind of a wonky layout, because you're going from a diagonal over, headline on a diagonal, then you're asking the viewer to jump from here over to here, which is kind of an unnatural movement since we started from the top, moved down and to the right. So that's a little bit, and that's just a personal situation. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm saying it's got a little bit of visual tension, I think, based on that big diagonal right there. Good. This I think is pretty good, pretty darn good hierarchy too. So I don't really want to give you much direction here. I know I just told you exactly what to do here. I didn't really want to do that, but I did. So sorry. Anyways, I didn't on the others because I want you guys to figure this out. I want you to figure these relationships out yourself. It's not going to be perfect. Your second iteration is going to be 100% better than your first. I guarantee it. That's just natural. But this is an exercise you need to practice, and as you practice, you will definitely start understanding these relationships and how things fit together in terms of the human mind psychologically looking at things and how we group things and place things in our mind in order to make a composition make sense. Okay, and of course we need help from the designer, things like this. All right, so great job. Any questions, comments, concerns, or anything at all, please feel free to give me a holler. All right, thanks, Abby.